Today I got the easiest way to install the most powerful agent on your computer. Even your mom could do it, and even your smartest friends are gonna love how powerful this is. If you don't wanna pay for expensive AI models, I've got a free one that is super powerful that will fit on your computer for free. Ooh, and if you've been using Fable 5 and it's burning up tokens, I've got a plan for you for saving them. And a simple tool that will make it easy for your agents to have access to your websites without sharing your passwords with them. All that and so much more. News you missed this week. Let's get started.
Presented by Zapier, the AI automation company.
We got AI releases that you probably missed this week. There's a lot going on. Let's get right into it. This is my absolute favorite one. Hermes is on the desktop. If you wanted an agent and the whole terminal experience felt a little rough for you, this is the one that will make it so accessible that it's like any other app. In fact, I feel like it's like Claude Cowork, and I feel comfortable putting it on my main device, though I have it on a secondary device too. Here is a quick video showing you what you could do with it.
Quinn every 20 minutes going and reading Reddit.
This is, by the way, his cron jobs. It's so easy now, cron jobs. I think they should just call it scheduled tasks now because they're making it more user-friendly, right?
Reading X, searching for other people's challenges. And I'm going to show you what it builds for me here. And I'm going to show you how I take it a step further. Now, if you want to emulate this, you 100% should. You don't need to do this every 20 minutes if you're using like a cloud. The reason why this works so well with Quen locally is it's free, so I can have it do it as much as
and we've got a news story about a free model that you can put on pretty inexpensively.
I want. If you're using like ChatGPT or Opus, you'd be paying out the wazoo for this because it costs money every time you do something. So maybe you do this just once a morning to save a little cash. But here's the output of that. This cron job. I get.
Why is it taking so long? There we go. That's the output right there.
But what I get here is.
You know what? It's taking a little while. So what I'm going to tell you is he now has a list of problems that people have expressed on Reddit, on X, and how he could position his company or his services to solve those problems. And if he's building a company that solves people's problems, he wants to hunt for problems. This is one of the reports that he gets. You've used Hermes. What do you think of them?
So the Hermes desktop app literally feels like the Claude desktop app, just like you said. It feels like a much more powerful Claude Cowork. And what I love about Hermes is you can have one Hermes agent go and spin up additional Hermes agents. So I've had my main Hermes orchestrator go and spin up 7 additional Hermes profiles, each with their own config, their own tools, their own sol.md, all very specialized, capable of doing very specific things in my business. So I think this is a huge step. This wasn't going to really take off if it was stuck in the terminal, and now I think it will.
Yeah, look at this. This is what the desktop app looks like. Everything is labeled so cleanly. You see chat sessions on the left. He's pinned 4 of them on top. Super clear. If you haven't used it, this is the time to get it. It works really well. Let's go on to the next news story, which is, of course, Claude Fable 5 is out. Karpathy says that this is like having software that comes out of the tap. And I love this guy. Here's an example of what that looks like when you can have software just come out of the tap, essentially.
Claude Fable, or Mythos, is absolutely insane. On the left here, we have the actual lovable mobile app. And here we have a lovable mobile app that I built in 2 prompts with Claude Fable 5.
And he, by the way, is showing not only in this video, not only how the prompts are stupid simple, just 2 of them, and then he uses his little lovable clone to build a Notion app. It is amazing. People are building with it. What do you think of this?
So I've been using it myself. I've actually got it sitting in Cursor right here running a /goal project right now that I spun up this morning. But my initial impressions are it is super powerful. Like it just feels way smarter, way better than Opus. First thing I did is I said, look at my emails, calendar, and call recordings from the past quarter and give me what you think my Q3 priority should be. The priorities it gave me were exactly what I was anticipating, but it went so much deeper and pulled out insights from calls that I barely even remember having that, I mean, it just absolutely blew my mind with what it gave me. It really feels like a step up from Opus.
Great point. You know what? We think about it as something that will create apps for you the way that he did right here in this example. Riley is fantastic with it, but I use it even in Claude Cowork. It's super simple, but there are problems with it, and I want to talk about that. Here's one person who says, look, a $200 Claude Max subscription lasts 90 minutes using Claude Fable 5. Do not use sub agents when using Claude Fable 5. So this is draining people's Claude accounts. Here's another one. Claude Fable 5 eats tokens 3 prompts later, and it's 58% of the max 5x plan. And I want to show this. I'm actually going to zoom in on what JJ said. Jay is at 10x. One of my first interviewees was the founder of 10x. They build apps using AI. And one of the things that he did was he said, look, I'm going to show you how much money I spent on it. I'm going to show you how I built with it. And I'm going to tell you all the good stuff. I'm going to fast forward through the good stuff because we've all seen the good stuff. And tell you here's what he did, or what he says you need to do to avoid burning through tokens. He says run it as a hybrid. He says, here's how to keep costs in check without giving up intelligence. Do not run everything in Claude Fable 5. Run a relay across models. Think with Claude Fable 5. Build with 4X or GPT 5.5 or even Sonnet 4.6, and then review with Claude Fable 5. I made a mistake yesterday where I said, this is new. I have to try it. I'm going to have Fable pull all these X posts, all these videos that I'm showing in Cowork. And I did it, and it was fantastic. And then the stupid mistake that I made was I had it tweak using Fable. And I would say, you know what? I want this slide moved here, and I want that slide moved there, and I want this. And that just burned through so much that I kept getting the alert at the end saying you're almost out of usage for the week. And so that's the big lesson from this.
I did the same thing. So when I was running my initial tests with Fable, I was using it in Cowork to analyze my X post, my LinkedIn post, repurpose, tell me what I'm doing right, tell me what I'm doing wrong. And I just threw Fable at the whole thing. And like you said, within about 30 minutes, I was at about 70% of not my weekly usage limits, but my session usage limits, which still with a few prompts is kind of insane to be burning through that quickly. All in all, I think JJ's spot on. It's like, look, you've got to, we've always talked about knowing when to use the right tool for the job. Like that's always been important.
Yeah.
But now it's even more important than ever because of how expensive these new models are going to be. And once it's off your subscription, like once you're paying for usage at API rates here in about a week and a half, that's going to be even more important.
Yeah, let's get to using it as quickly as possible while it's still available. Okay, this one is also another drop, lesser known, the best open image model, and now it can finally spell. I want to actually not show their intro video, but I found one that's even better. Here goes.
Look like. Or here's another example where we can generate a group photo of all these characters. And indeed, most of them do look correct, including Stitch and Doctor Strange, even the Black Panther.
Well done.
It did turn Mulan into a man. It's also great at text rendering. So here's one of my classic prompts. And as you can see,
I'm actually going to stop and I'm going to zoom in because you're not going to see the benefit of it. Here's what it looks like on the left. It looks nice, but it looks almost like the others until you start paying attention to the details and you see that the first line of the Z image one says, oops, says, oh no, I'm going to zoom out. This is quite a long piece of text. And you realize, oh, text is really hard to get right. Here's the one on the right from Ernie. It says, this is quite a long piece of text and it looks nice until you see that it says AI image model could generate accurately. And so that's the beauty of this model. It works. It's free. It's available right now. Any thoughts before we move to the next one?
Yeah, I mean, this has been something that we've seen improving really quickly. I mean, think about even a year and a half ago, like pre-Nano Banana, AI images just weren't there, and you try to get it to spit out text in an image, good luck. I mean, it couldn't even form words, much less spell them correctly. So it's like we're almost there. I think this is probably the breakthrough everybody's been waiting for as far as rendering text in AI generated images.
Okay. And people keep asking me for all these links. I'll have a link to everything. In fact, to this whole report, if you want, in the description. Next, of course, Zapier MCP. If you are using Hermes Agent or any other AI tool and you want to give it all your tools, but give it the restrictions that you want to protect your data and the power you need to get it to actually do real work, there's nothing like Zapier MCP. It is the most beautiful interaction where you can just see the tools that you have and then say, I want to give it permission to do this, not permission to do that. Go use it right now, zapier.com/MCP. Next, Meta Business Agent. I am like super unimpressed with Meta stuff. I think, though, this is really useful. I'm going to show a video from their launch. I found the right clip. Oh, wait, here it is.
Because every business in this room and watching online should have an AI agent, full stop. Businesses like Alber Arte, a jewelry brand in Mexico. Owner Veronica Guevara was an early adopter of our business agent and has used it to respond to customers at all hours of the day, so no message goes unanswered. She tells me that it has saved her 80% of her time. It takes care of all the repetitive customer questions so she can focus on her craft. You see, with the Meta Business Agent, you're closing sales even when you're asleep. And I'm excited to announce that the agent is now available across the world to the hundreds of millions of businesses on our WhatsApp Business app and on Messenger. And that includes right here in the UK.
Okay, let me pause here for a second, and I'll tell you the cool thing about this is it will not just answer messages, it will also study the way that you responded to your customers in the past and use that to inform how it responds to messages in the future. You can watch it so that you're making sure that it's not doing anything goofy, but it seems simple, it works, and I like that they're making this available instantly for people. Thoughts?
Yeah, so I think this is a smart move on Meta's part. I mean, obviously, WhatsApp is the messaging app of choice for everybody in the world that's not based
Sadly.
in the US. So, right. But, you know, what they're talking about there, the capability of responding to customers, people that are using WhatsApp for business. I mean, they're essentially taking the concept that I talk about all the time of speed to lead and baking that into their native messaging channel. And it's smart. I mean, again, eventually everybody's going to have this. It's just a matter of who gets on it quicker. The fact that it analyzes the way that you already talk to customers and kind of sounds like it's almost building like a brand voice profile for you based on previous conversations is a great feature. And I mean, I'm shocked it took Meta this long, but I think this is going to give them, I mean, they have such large distribution with WhatsApp and with Messenger. So I think this is a step in the right direction for them for sure.
Next. Google AI Plus plan is now reduced to $4.99. I put a list together of what you get for it. And so you're getting Gemini usage limits that are increased, OmniFlash video, your daily brief that's scheduled, your AI inbox, all this stuff. And still I am yawning. And partially it's because all this stuff kind of comes in the subscription that I already have. And partially because I really don't care about the price. I'm not someone who looks at my Claude monthly subscription at $20. Actually, it's more than 20, but even my OpenAI at $20 and goes, this is too much. What do you think?
I agree, right? I mean, everything that Google's offering here inside this cheaper plan, like I'm not a price conscious AI consumer. I think this is geared towards that person that is, you know, they're relatively new to AI. They're in Gmail, they're in Drive, they're in Google Calendar, and they want to kind of dip their toe in the in the AI water, so to speak. And this is a really low risk, low cost way for them to do that. People like you and I, and for the folks listening to this conversation, we're already using Claude or OpenAI or Codex or Claude Code to do everything that Google is including in that plan there. So it's like, why would we pay any more, even if it's $5 a month, to do the things that we're already doing with Claude? That's kind of the way that I see it.
The only advantage to this one is if you need some people on your team to have a lower price, I can't even imagine that, or people who you know in your life, in your family or work who are too cheap to get started properly, maybe you give it to them. The other advantage is it maybe creates a little bit of pricing pressure on the companies that we like. All right.
Right.
Gemma 4. I'm actually going to breeze through this pretty quickly because the thing that's interesting here is you can now put a full model on your laptop that can do things like we talked Hermes agent. We showed Alex earlier talk about how he gets his to do so much because he's not paying for all this access. You can now do that. It is amazing. I've got a video here for everyone who's watching. I have another one here that
if you want to indicate,
here, this is examples of what you can do with
so
it.
So these are some examples. So we
using
could do
Hermes.
like a 7 a.m. morning brief. We could say, okay, every day, brief me on everything that happened. And then it just gives us the top priorities, what happened overnight, or what it's going to do today. Here's another example. So you could actually triage your inboxes, look at your emails and that sort of thing. And here's another one.
I'll have it for people to look at side by side. He had it. Oh, here, this is kind of interesting.
Do a weekly review. So we could look at everything inside my memory, which we've actually got plugged into the agent operating system as well. So if we go inside the memory section here, we have used Obsidian as a second brain.
Okay. It's there for you. It's easy. It's really nice that this is now available and it's coming in smaller and smaller to take on those little tasks. And the nice thing about Hermes is it's easy to switch model to model.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that these local models are free, I think this is kind of where everything's going, especially as Anthropic, like these frontier models get more and more expensive. It's like you don't need a Fable 5 or even like an Opus 4.8 to do probably 90% of the stuff that the everyday person needs to do with AI. So the fact that these local models are getting smaller in the sense that, like in terms of the actual size, and pretty much anybody can put it on their normal hardware, their normal computer, that's going to be the future. I think there's a future where people just are running local models on their machine to do most of their daily lifting, and then they'll use a Fable 5 or a GPT 5.5 or even an Opus to do the heavier tasks. But most people aren't even going to need those models.
And even for me, frankly, for most of the things that I do, I don't need these heavy models. It's easier to install than I realized. I've got this link here so that you can go in and see how to install it. I was actually thinking of walking people step by step through his installation. I said, no, it's a breeze. Just click, 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 follow instructions, move on. All right.
Yep.
Here's why I included this. I think it's stupid, and I'm actually going to open this up in a full tweet here. This is OpenAI to me right now.
Hola, Char. ¿Puedes poner mi pelo con los colores de la selección argentina? Pero que se
Can
vea
you dye my
natural,
hair to the color of Argentina? And now
Los chicos se van a
OpenAI
reír,
did it. Dude, what is going on with OpenAI? ChatGPT was #1 for a long time. This is the nonsense that they put on, and they post about it. This is not where their attention should be going.
Yeah, the tweet itself is insane. It's basically saying like, hey, use ChatGPT to include a picture of yourself and change the color of your hair. Like, to me, it's so mainstream. Like I think they realize that there's still so many people that have not even used AI, and the fact that you can take a picture of yourself and tell it to change the color of your hair is mind-blowing to like 99% of people. They're still targeting that market, that TAM that's so massive. Codex obviously has widespread adoption in the developer community, and people that are advanced are using it for that purpose. But I think that they're not forgetting the fact that they are like the main, like when people think of AI, they think ChatGPT. And I think they're just trying to capitalize on that by addressing as large a TAM as possible. But I think it's stupid. I mean, I think it's insane.
I think it's a mistake. They're constantly telling people they are the Fisher Price of AI models, that this is the basic stuff, instead of saying we are the high-powered. I'm going to move on. I also want to highlight a repo this week. This one has been doing really well this week, getting a lot of attention. It's called agentcookie. Here's the problem that it solves. You want to give your agent, even if it's like Claude Code or actually not Cowork. Cowork can actually do a really good job in your main browser, but you want to give it access to the sites that you need, but you don't want to necessarily log in. And so you're sharing cookies. It works really simply. Oh, do I not have yeah, here. This is Catherine talking about how she uses it. The simplicity of being able to give access to your agents, not having them forget how to get in, but not giving them a password. That's the answer here. And it's available free right now. Sorry, go ahead.
And I saw that I think that repo was posted by Matt Van Horn, who's the same guy behind the Last 30 Days skill and a lot of other really cool kind of niche GitHub repos and tools that I've used and that I know a lot of other people get a ton of value out of. So if it's coming from him, it's going to be high quality, and it's going to do what it says it does. So
I had no idea it's from him.
That's what it said. Yeah, the link.
Wow.
Linked. Yep, M. Van Horn.
I've been trying to get him on. He's got to come on here at some point and talk to me. He's been doing incredible stuff. All right. We got links to that and everything else, all the links below in the description. And now that this is over, I actually have a collection of repos that you can use immediately. There's a link for you right here to watch. Go check that out.